Half-life is nearly 30 years old, which means people have had an absolutely obscene amount of time to find things that were never supposed to be found. Dead soldiers that keep talking, scientists being used as lockpicks, a box that lets you fly, and apparently if you stand on a man's head near a door, you become immortal. I don't know who found half of these, I don't know what they were doing when they found them, but today I'm testing all of them. And honestly, after going through this list, I think Mr. G-Man might actually be the most normal thing in Black Mesa.
Transmission. Remember, more lives than yours may depend on your fitness.
Myth number 1. There's a hidden health station on a roof in Apprehension. At first, I genuinely thought I was looking at a piece of random black geometry that had gotten loose and wandered up there. It didn't look like a health station. It didn't behave like a health station. It just sat there on a roof looking suspicious. So I jumped up, pressed E on this mystery object, and immediately started healing. I even torched it, and yes, it was a health station. Valve put a health station on a roof. Not near a roof, but on a roof. I've walked past this thing probably a dozen times and never looked up once. So myth confirmed. Myth number 2. The soldier before on a rail keeps talking after he dies. Usually death is the thing that stops people from talking. That's generally how it works. But this is Half-Life, so I found the soldier and gave him a very direct headshot. Clean, immediate, he was dead. He kept talking.
One of your scientist pals said to give you a message.
My guy took a bullet to the head and just kept going with his speech, like nothing happened. So I threw a grenade at him, because at that point it felt like the only reasonable escalation, and that shut him up. So the answer is, a headshot doesn't stop him, but a grenade does. Which raises so many questions about what exactly is going on inside that helmet. Let's say myth confirmed. Myth number 3. You can skip We've Got Hostiles by using a scientist as a lockpick. This is my favorite myth in the entire list because it reframes scientists as a tool rather than a liability, which honestly is how I've always seen them. Apparently, if you get a scientist to follow you and shove him into exactly the right spot, he'll open a door that's not supposed to be open yet. So I had to convince him to follow me first, which is somehow the least believable part of all of this. Then I dragged him to the door, and I shoved him into position, and the door opened. After this, you have to be pretty fast because it closes really quickly, and apparently saving mid-chapter can break the whole setup. But it works. You can completely skip the section. Another myth confirmed. Myth number 4. The instructor in the hazard course disappears while teaching you to jump. I've never paid attention to anything that happens in the hazard course because I spend the entire time trying to leave the hazard course. But apparently if you actually watch the instructor, she just vanishes mid-lesson. So I followed her over to the jumping section and watched. She jumps across, starts explaining what to do, and then ceases to exist. No walking away, she just disappeared. Magic! Not gonna lie, Black Mesa hired some very strange people. Myth confirmed. Myth number 5. There are boxes and power-up in the basement where it's filled with water that can't be destroyed with explosives. Naturally, I got a bomb and threw it at them. My aim was not perfect, but it was close enough. The explosion wiped out nearly every box, and only one box survived, which I found personally offensive. So I gave it some extra encouragement, and it also disappeared. So explosives worked fine on the boxes. Someone lied to me. Myth busted. Myth number 6. In surface tension, you can skip the generator route by jumping over the fence. I've seen footage of people doing this, so I knew it was technically possible. The problem is actually doing it yourself. I spent significantly longer on this jump than I would have spent just taking the normal route. At a certain point, I had to accept that this isn't really a shortcut. It's more like volunteering to suffer for slightly longer than the intended path would have taken. If you can do it consistently, good for you, but I cannot. But the jump exists and it works, so myth confirmed. Myth number 7. In anomalous materials, jumping on a scientist causes a super jump and can teleport them. The problem I immediately ran into was the scientist and anomalous materials do not want to be jumped on. Every time I get close, they walked away. At one point, I was basically chasing this man around the entire lab while he tried to have a normal Tuesday. But after way too long, I gave up. Nothing happened, no super jump, and no teleportation. It was just me harassing a scientist for 5 minutes with nothing to show for it. Myth busted. Myth number 8. Jump on a tank and hit it with the crowbar to see the magic. Whenever a myth says see the magic, it means something is about to go very wrong. So I climbed on the tank as fast as I could and pulled out the crowbar to hit it. The game immediately fell apart. I got teleported backwards and couldn't move, and had essentially become part of the level geometry. It went from testing a myth to being physically incorporated into the map. I have no idea what causes this, and I don't think Valve does either, so myth confirmed. Myth number 9. There's a hidden medkit and HEV charger near the scientist who warns you before you become barnacle food. I've never paid attention to what's up there because when a giant tongue is dragging me toward the ceiling, I'm usually focused on that specifically. So this time I let the barnacle win. Just let it grab me and haul me all the way up. And there was an HEV charger up there, and a medkit right next to it. Valve hid useful supplies in the one place most players are actively trying to avoid. That's genuinely impressive commitments to secrets. Myth confirmed. Myth number 10. At the end of apprehension, you keep one weapon after losing your inventory. This would have been very useful information, but unfortunately it's not true. The second I hit the section where everything gets taken, I started cycling through weapons expecting something to still be there. Nothing. No pistol, no crowbar, nothing. The game takes everything, so don't get excited. Myth busted. Myth number 11. The Offix Complex elevator can teleport you into the next level while keeping the scientist alive. This one's actually pretty famous. You activate the elevator and run out at exactly the right moment. Getting the timing right took me far more attempts than I'm comfortable admitting, but eventually it worked. I got sent into the next section and the scientist was still alive, completely fine, as if the game had just forgotten what chapter it was. Myth confirmed. Myth number 12. The Offix Complex elevator can be closed from outside. Since we were already doing things to this elevator that Valve definitely didn't intend, we kept going. So apparently instead of the complicated teleport setup, you can just close it from the outside. And it worked immediately. Another myth confirmed. Myth number 13. The scientist who jumps out of the window in Offix Complex can give you a boost. You have to be quick because if you're too slow, he gets teleported back and you've lost your window. After a few attempts, I managed to bump into him at the right moment and got launched upward. If you've ever struggled with the ladder section, this is actually helpful. It's deeply weird, but it worked. Myth confirmed. Myth number 15. In the generator control room, you can skip the hydro pump section using a hidden box route. I genuinely never noticed this. Apparently, there's a box you can drag into position to reach a ladder and bypass the whole hydro pump section. So I moved the box, cleared the path, and climbed up. And it worked! This shortcut has apparently always been sitting right there, and I spent years not seeing it. Myth confirmed. Myth number 16. There's a secret closet in Newell's lab. I searched everywhere people said it was supposed to be. Checked every corner, found nothing. Unless a broken ceiling counts as a secret closet, which I don't think it does. But other than that, there's nothing here. Myth busted. Myth number 17. The Lambda Core teleport puzzle solution is written nearby. The Lambda Core teleport puzzle is one of the most annoying puzzles, let's be honest. But what if I told you that the answer was written nearby this whole time? So I went looking and eventually found it written in blood. 247, which is the correct sequence. So if you've ever spent 20 minutes randomly teleporting yourself around that room, congratulations! You are ignoring the answer the entire time, just like me. Myth confirmed. Myth number 18. Standing near a door hinge while a soldier opens it gives you infinite health. This sounds completely made up. It sounds like something someone invented to waste my time. So I got into position, waited for the soldier, and let him open the door. And boom! Infinite health. This is one of those glitches that looks fake right up until the moment it works on you personally. Myth confirmed. Standing on a soldier's head while he opens a door also gives you infinite health. There's a second infinite health door glitch, and this one is somehow even dumber. You just stand on the soldier's head. That's the whole thing. No complicated setup, and just stand on a soldier's head and wait for him to open the door. So I'm doing it, and it actually worked. I don't know why Gordon Freeman becomes immortal when standing on another human being near a door, and I don't think anyone knows. Half-Life physics clearly stopped making sense at some point, and everyone just accepted it. Myth confirmed. You can make a soldier open the red Offix Complex door where you can see G-Man. You know the door. The one you can see G-Man through the window of. Apparently, you can actually get inside. The trick is convincing a soldier to help you, which is difficult because Half-Life NPCs have the attention span of something with a very short attention span. After clearing out the area, I dragged a soldier over to the door. You can also use grenades to nudge them in the right direction, which feels like a reasonable use of grenades. So myth confirmed. You can stop G-Man on the bridge by shooting at him. Normally what happens is G-Man crosses the bridge and vanishes, but apparently shooting him makes him stop. So I shot him, and he stopped and just stood there. The interesting part is you can actually follow him afterward, but the second you look away, he disappears, which is the most G-Man thing that could possibly happen. So without looking far away, I followed him as far as I could and still couldn't do anything about him. He just kept going back and forth in a circle. There's a healing wall near the end of We've Got Hostile. True, but that happens because there's a health charger on the other side of a wall, which means the wall itself heals you. I walked up to it and started healing. That's it. That's the whole myth. You can call it a magic healing wall. Myth confirmed. There's a hidden drain under a crate at the end of apprehension. Don't ask how I had a crowbar in a section where I'm not really supposed to have one. Just focus. I smashed the crate, looked underneath, and there was a drain. Dropped in, and it took me straight to residue processing. There's a secret escape route hidden under a random box. It was just sitting there. So yeah, myth confirmed. You can teleport straight past a chunk of Zen using the Hornet gun during the final teleport sequence. Sounded like complete nonsense. Apparently, you just wait for the portal, spam the Hornet gun, and jump at the right moment. So I did that, and it worked. The scientists called me a fool mid-glitch, which felt unnecessary given I got teleported. But I ended up skipping a significant stretch of the killing. Anything that lets me skip automatically is one of my favorite myths. One of the random platforms in Apprehension's flooded area is actually a hidden HEV charger. That also sounded completely made up, so I went over there and pressed E anyway. My suit started charging immediately. Same charge limit as a normal charger and fully functional. Just hidden in a flooded industrial area where nobody would ever think to press E. You can fly using a box. This took me longer than I want to admit. Apparently, if you pick up a box, move with it, drop it, and jump at exactly the right moment, the physics engine just gives up. After failing repeatedly, I finally got the timing and got launched forward at a speed that was not intended. It looks absurd, but it works. Once you're consistent with it, you can skip sections, gain speed, reach places you're not supposed to reach. Myth confirmed. Does subscribing increase your chances of finding weird Half-Life glitches? This myth is backed by absolutely no science whatsoever, but after spending an entire video discovering healing walls, flying boxes, immortality doors, and soldiers that you have to grenade twice to stop talking, I've completely lost my ability to rule anything out. So if you enjoyed the video, subscribe. We might as well confirm everything at this point. Myth confirmed.